Well, I had a lot going on today. Well, I shouldn't say that. Everybody had a lot going on today. We had a ton of horses racing, and man, I didn't realize how hot it was going to be in Miami Valley. Oh my God almighty. It had to be high 20s Celsius and mid to high 80s, I think, Fahrenheit today. It was really hot. And, you know, as drained as I can feel right now, as I feel a little bit right now, I can only imagine how Jason and Lauren and Cordon, Kaylee and Kirby and Becca feel. I mean, those guys were there before I was, well before I was, and I left before they did. So a long day for everybody, but you know what? It was a very revealing day, I guess. A lot of storylines going into today. You know, I think our best shot today was a winner. We had some horses race maybe a little bit flat, but you know, insider trading. The line itself, she tried a 56, last half 56 in a piece, but nowhere near where I expect her to be right now, and did scope with a little bit of blood. Struggling in that regard. More times than not, when you see horses that bleed a little bit through lays X1, you know, obviously we can up the dosage a little bit. I'm not sure what Tim is giving her, but I'm sure it's nowhere near the most she can get. Having said that, what's causing that? You know, are her feet sore? Does she have a little infection somewhere? It's not shown on her blood work, and it certainly doesn't act. She doesn't look like it, but she does feel like something's going on. And we've had some horses that have come back terrible, and she is not one of those. I believe she's making small gains. You know, when you see a horse go win in 54, a horse she has to race against this year, you know, and beat us by 10 lengths, you're like, not really what we were looking for. But at the same token, it was 56. It was the last half of 56 and a bit, I think, last quarter 29. So it wasn't a horrendous mile, but leaves you wondering, how long is it going to take to get there, right? To get to where we need to be. Can she get there? What's causing her not to get there? So a lot of questions left today from some horses, but some none. You know, Stay Close was great today, 53-1 on a hot day. Not shocking at all. You know, he's been such a good horse for us. And then, you know, we were talking about the storyline, Sweeney coming off a break. I felt that he was very stiff behind. I didn't like what I saw in the race last week, and I know that Jason, Dr. Latessa, had worked hard on him. I believe we're on the right track. We got to the bottom of where his issues lie, and you saw it today. Now, obviously, a lot of questions surrounding the race. What happened? You know, you had a bunch of breakers. I got interfered with before I seemingly interfered with allegedly interfered with somebody else. Now, I've been driving a long time, and there was a point in time where I might have picked up the phone and got angry. There was a point in time where I might have flipped out when the horse was set back. But the reality of the situation is a multitude of things going on. One, Justin Irvine's a kid getting his driver's license. I can assure you, he come off the track, and his trainer, Rosie, who we used to stable with, probably said, "Hey, did Anthony touch you up in the last turn?" To which he told the truth and said, "Yeah, he got tight to me, and he you know, he might have touched me." To which she would have told him to go to the phone, right? I've been there where your trainer's angry. I can assure you this, if we're going to be completely honest, I never cost him a centimeter of ground, but I did touch him up when I went by him, and it happened quickly where, you know, you saw what had gone on in the front. Chris Page had parked Cameron McCowan, and then he get in the 2-hole. Now I think Cam's, you know, he was angry about the 56 and 3/2 and then retreated to the hole. Well, it looked to me like Chris was on fumes up front too. He should have just kept going, I believe. If he goes and clears to the front, I attack right away, and there's no inquiry, there's no issue, there's no nothing, because I would have won easily in 55 in a piece. But I followed Cam out of the hole, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, Chris is on the front, I'm in a good spot. You know, I'm loaded. Sweeney's got a lot to offer here. And then as we got to the turn, Cam makes a break. Now, when Cam makes a break, usually get out of the way. But I think he was just, I don't know if he was trying to set his horse or not, but he just took a little bit longer to get out of the way. Now he's coming back into me. I don't want him to interfere with me and cause me to make a break. And I don't want to get, I just want to get free and move. So I roared, just stay there, and I went to go around him, and out he comes. Now he's interfered with me. I'm trying to go back down and get around him, and Justin starts up the middle. Now Sweeney's on the right line. He's riding the right line a bit. I am tight to him, and I knew I was going to trot past him, and as I trotted past him, yeah, I did touch him up a little bit. Now, situation's reversed. I'm 47. I've been driving a long time. Anthony, did Justin bother you in the last year? Not really. It was tight. My horse came in a little bit, or his horse came in a little bit. Not a big deal. But Justin's in a tough spot. Rosie knows that her horse was interfered with, even slightly. Every dollar counts, and she wants Justin to go to the phone. And again, I don't have any proof of this, but I've been where he is, and I can almost guarantee you what happened. Goes to the phone. What happened in the last turn? Yeah, Anthony got tight to me, and he hit me, and my horse get out of gear for a stride or two. That's that. They didn't call me to the phone, and I could have picked up the phone and said, "Hey, I didn't hit him, but if you look at the head view, it does look like I touched him." Did I interfere with him? Maybe. I think he's fifth if I hit him or I don't hit him. How's that? In that regard, no, I don't think I did. But that's not how standardbred racing works. So, although I'm not really pleased with the call, I don't think it was a necessary call. There was merit to the call. And I know that Justin was put in a tough spot. And that's racing. What are you going to do? Their addition of a few $100 cost us $9,000, but that's racing. It's not the end of the world, and if there's one thing I learned a long time ago about stuff like this, turn the page. Not much you can do. I say it all the time. It's not like I'm going to pick up the phone afterwards and say, "Hey, Judge, I think you made a terrible mistake." He said, "Anthony, I think you're right. Just a second, let me reverse that call." It doesn't work that way. If they didn't call me, it's because they didn't want to hear from me. So, it was unfortunate. The silver lining, obviously, of the race was Sweeney raced great. Get out of the gate good, followed good, attacked well. And to be honest, the only reason that he got run down is because he just kind of went to sleep a little bit. And if I had kept driving him hard through the wire, might he have held on? Yeah. That other horse was coming quick. Picked me off fair and square. But I was super pleased, looking at Sweeney's first couple of races and then the break he made on me, 10 days ago or so, and then for him to come out and do this today, huge improvement. So, although I'm disappointed with the outcome of the race and the disqualification, I am super impressed with the overall professionalism and the work ethic that Sweeney showed today. Sweeney is a super nervous horse. For him to ship 4 hours down there, warm up, and race in that kind of heat, in that kind of situation, it's a feather in his cap. It shows a real will to compete, and I was really impressed with him. So that was Sweeney. We went to insider trading. A little disappointed with insider trading overall this year, but the progression is there, right? She went from the breaks to the hobbles going on. What I'd like to do, I wish this stake race coming up was in 3 weeks. Take the hobbles off her, start over. Strip her bare, start over again. I don't like what I see, but we can't start making wholesale changes right before a stake race. Her biggest problem is she showed a little blood over Lasix stake. That's a big problem. We got to work on that. And I guess to work on that, you have to understand why it was there. Now, Dave said the hobbles were tight. They looked tight to me, which is actually a good thing because they were let out 2 or 3 holes from where she raced her last time. So if we're able to start letting the hobbles out to the point where she's actually wanting the hobbles let out, she's getting sounder, she's getting stronger. Did that play a role in her bleeding? 100% it did. So we'll see what we can do with insider trading. We're not in a great spot with her. We're coming into a race where the horse that won that race is going to be, I guess, maybe be in the Sire Stakes, but hopefully be in the Sire Stakes. There is no gimmies waiting for us. A lot of question marks. and she is not in a great place right now, but we're going to do our best to get her there. Now, it was not that long ago that Gypsy Hill wasn't in a great place. We'll talk about him in a minute, but we were able to make some adjustments with him, and now I think he's moving very quickly in the right direction. So insider trading, mathematically, not a horrible mile, but on spec with your eyes, not what we want to see from this filly yet at all. We'll chalk it up to baby steps and try and work aggressively to try, I guess, have her ready for the stake race. I did originally just tell Tim to turn her out for 2 weeks, but we do have a stake race coming up. She did trot 56, and at the very least, we owe it to you and my partners to try and get her squared away for this race, and then we'll revisit what our options are with insider trading. Irresistible Sun, I think, aside from a great race from Sweeney, Irresistible Sun kind of stole the day. 9-hole, I left, retreated, right away, hard plan B. I looked left, I said, oh, that's a lot of levers. Ducked her in, and Kane, threw me a bone, dropped me in front of him, which was nice. Just rode the rail, get out late, and he was trotting as hard as he could to the wire. 55 and a piece, 28 and a piece on the end of it. A big mile from Irresistible Sun, and I can guarantee you the best is yet to come with this guy. He's still gaining weight and gaining confidence. Looked great today. Very happy with his race. Disappointed a bit with Prince Charmer. Again, here's another horse, showed maybe a speck of blood over Lasix. The problem I had with Prince Charmer is he's not in the same league as Gypsy and Irresistible Sun and even Sweeney. He's a watered-down version, but a likable horse. So I said to Jason, just put him in the maiden claimer at Northfield. He's going to win. The horse will do some good. But he's in a little, he's just a little deep in the pool yet for his comfort level. And I think partially, I think his hobbles can go out. Might even come off at some point. Definitely can go out in length and work on his feet, and I think that those few specks of blood will disappear. Hobbles go out, work on his feet. You're going to see a more productive Prince Charmer, but to put him in the winner's circle of a Buckeye, he might just be in the periphery. He might just be off to the side, but a likable horse, and we'll find a spot for him to do some good, at least for the foreseeable future. I was disappointed, but not really. I know what happens when the gas light comes on with Prince Charmer. When the flag starts to go up, it's not a real high flagpole. That white flag comes up, it's game over. It's more or less just warning you, I'm about to walk. Not, geez, I'm getting tired. Nah, I'm pretty sure I'm about to walk. And that's what takes place with Prince Charmer. But we'll find a spot for him in the near future. And then that led to another mildly impressive mile. Now, a lot went into Gypsy Hill today. You guys know, he had a real tricky start to the year, a lot of breaks, a lot of confidence issues in the turns. We had a number of shoeing adjustments and vet work done to him. A very strong qualifier at the Meadows, and then he come back today. Now, there were a couple of minor outside favorites in the race, number 7 with Kane Kaufman and number 6 with Chris Lims, oddly enough, the two that beat me. Now, I left out, but he was so quiet, but in a good way. Sitting on the 2-hole, I didn't want to expose him and put him on the front. I gave him the opportunity. As we come out of the turn, I eased him out of the 2-hole, and Kane probably did want to stay on the front, but I could have pressed the issue and pushed to the front. I was the favorite. But I gave Gypsy the opportunity. I went to come out of the hole, and he didn't spring forward like he wanted to attack at that moment. So I just dropped him back in. Took my chances. So we started into the backstretch again. He feels good. The horse on the front looks good. No passing lane there. So I take a look over my shoulder. 5 horse. I looked at the program, and I don't believe the 5 was a killer, but he's got the earplugs in, and he's advancing on a horse that's left of the 7-hole. But I still don't feel like he can come out of the 2-hole. I start out for a second. Again, Gypsy's like, not yet. In we go again. Around the last turn, he's trotting good. We come out of the turn. I know I got to run on the horse on the front. I can see Chris Lims coming. Chris Page is at a soap. But he's still lingering. He's still loitering. He's right there. I start to inch out of the hole. There wasn't a ton of room there, but I'm like, I don't like being locked in. So I inch out, and I get just enough room to slide his feet in front of Kane's wheel, sneak out beside Chris. I get out. Now, I did think he would advance quickly. I thought he would snap forward and win the race. He didn't. But he finished up good. He did finish up good. So I would consider I would say that it was a watered down version of what I expected, but I can guarantee you, I can say with the utmost confidence that Gypsy Hill will come forward in a big way this summer. Although he didn't show it being his fastest mile tonight, what he showed me was intelligence and calmness and comfort, and that's what we were looking for, and we can build on that. He's crazy and hot and hitting himself, and you just got to get him through, and he wins the race, and you're like, but now what, right? Now what are we going to do with him? Now he's hot and crazy. He was subdued tonight, but he was smart, and I was really, really impressed with him, and I think it might not have been that 55 mile, and it might not have been that snap speed in the end, but when we call on him next time, I think you're going to see it. So I was happy with Gypsy Hill tonight. Man, George of the Jungle. Quite, how do you do? First lifetime start, they go in 54-4. Now James has been qualifying him in 2.9, 2.7, walking him around, and he took it well. You know, I think Patricia messaged me 56-27-1 at the end of it. It's really hard to be upset with that. If you had George of the Jungle coming in tonight, you said 58's a good mile. What about 56-27-1 at the end of it? Pretty good mile. Really, really impressed with George of the Jungle and how he performed tonight. Born to Dance was my last drive. What are you gonna do? You got the 8-hole. You're just gonna have to take your medicine. You know, I wasn't going on a suicide mission with him. To leave out with him would have been certain. It would have been an absolute inferno. They would have burned him into the ground, and yeah, he's not a Buckeye horse. He's just a useful horse. We saw this with the filly last night on Fancy Like, just outmatched, outgunned, and Born to Dance tonight. What did he pace 55? Okay, cool. We can help him. He was running in hard. He was his last start. Dr. Latessa did his coffin joints. Wasn't the place, or you shouldn't say that. It wasn't just the place. Whatever is causing him to run in, he's still running in. So how do we fix that? How do we fix the running in stuff? Well, I would say knees on a 3-year-old pacing colt would be a good start to look, good place to look. So we got to get him off that line and get him in where he can win. Yes, a couple of our clients said, maybe just not race him in the stakes. This is not fair to the horse. He draws a 2-hole in a softer division. He's a contender. He's 3rd, 4th tonight. But we have to get a look at what's in the state also, right? What's going on in the Buckeye division? So, a very telling mile from him. He did everything he could. I can say that with absolute certainty that he did everything he could. He just wasn't good enough. And then the only race that truly disappointed me tonight was Ready for Landing. I just watched the race. On the front, James moved him back to the front in a very flat-looking, ordinary mile from Ready for Landing. Just not what I expected coming off of mile 54. He landed on the front. The Green Spring filly, which you guys may have remembered, was our top pick from the sale the year we bought Insider Trading. The whole storyline of that sale, the only way that I ended up with Insider Trading was Robert Lidstrom had told me he liked her, and also told me that they were going to bid quite high on the filly that we liked, and her name was Green Spring. Now, Robert Lidstrom did not get Green Spring. Determination did. She made a break leaving the gate tonight. They paid about 400 and some thousand. Astronomical amount of money, I believe. If I'm not mistaken. I know it was a lot. 3-something, 4-something, I don't know. It was a lot. She was the favorite tonight. Ended up going off the favorite, made a break. James got away in a nice spot. Removed him to the front. I'm thinking, I know Bobby's horse is a nice horse, but I'm expecting a big mile from this horse. We get to the head of lane and the phone starts glitching, freezing. I just want to heave it out the window, and it jumps forward and going under the wire. A beaten, abysmal 4th. Not at all what I was hoping for, and quite frankly, Insider Trading, I wasn't shocked. I was, I guess, a little impressed that she tried at 56. Still a little flat and a long way to go, but Ready for Landing's mile tonight was simply disappointing. And I've asked Dominic to scope him. We'll see what's going on with him. I just expect more from this horse, and after the mile he showed last week, I thought it was there, but certainly didn't show up tonight. So, yeah, I think George of the Jungle trotted much faster than him. So, there you go. Anyway, we'll get to the bottom of Ready for Landing. It just seems to be one step forward, 2 steps back. Now, this is our first step back. I would hope there isn't another one, but we'll see. And we'll go from there. So with that, I have not seen Victory Blue Chip. I'll give you guys a quick skim over again tomorrow morning when I have a night to think about everything and digest everything that took place today, and get a chance to watch Victory Blue Chip. But for right now, I'm in search of a meal, is what I'm in search of. Gonna get a quick bite to eat and head back our way tonight. So with that, I'm gonna let you go. Not a bad day. Not a bad day. Super impressed with Sweeney. Super impressed with Irresistible Son, and happy with Gypsy. You mark my words, Gypsy Hill will come forward in a big way in the future. Today's start will go a long way for him. Stay Close was fantastic today. Really happy with him. George of the Jungle, out of the blue, that guy jumped forward, and everybody else was a watered-down version of what I'd hoped, but not a horrible day at all. Not a horrible day at all here at the stable. So lots more tomorrow. We were optimistic today, but I don't think anybody was disappointed or shocked in anything that took place today. Tomorrow's a different story. We got our big guns on the trot side for Pennsylvania, New Jersey. Our boy, Widespread Panic's going to make his first start of the year tomorrow. So Widespread Panic, Pickpocket, Memory and Imaginations, and then tomorrow night, JK Victory back in action in Indiana, and Winter Bells in Ontario. So with that, I'm going to let you go. I hope you guys had a great day. It wasn't a bad day. It wasn't a bad day. A decent day at the stable. I will talk to you all very soon.